Welcome back to the chat room at Tyrant Studios.
Come to you high above the legendary penthouse in downtown Vancouver.
Since-
I'm laughing. Danny's making me laugh.
Since 1947. If you've not known about the Penthouse nightclub, where have you been? If you're new to Vancouver, what a storied history. You're still doing the tours, the Penthouse tours.
Yes, Secrets of the Penthouse tours put on by Forbidden Vancouver. We do about one a month, and you can find us online on Secrets of the Penthouse.
There's one in May and there's one in June.
Oh boy, we just
and then you go golfing. You're at the Masters for a little bit, and when we get you back from the PGA, and
it's a lot of fun. Secrets of the Penthouse tour. We really enjoy them.
All right, I'm Joe Leary, along with Danny Filipponi, the BC Entertainment Hall of Famer, and Aaron Chapman, noted author, historian, and hopefully political candidate.
We'll know by next episode.
Okay.
Tune in next month, find out what happened to me. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Our next guest is a gentleman named Dmitri Lennikov, who I had the pleasure of meeting through a family connection. And Dmitri reconnected with me recently. He is the director of film studies of...
Film collections coordinator.
Film collections coordinator at the University of British Columbia.
Excellent.
And we started talking about, could we do some film stuff on the chat room? He's a fan of the show, which is great. And I thought, let's maybe go beyond that. But I didn't realize, Chappie, that you have a connection to film studies as well.
I did my degree at UBC in film studies. I took the program there. I did my short film there in, 1995, many moons ago. The staff and teachers have all changed probably since then, but I have lots of memories of being in Brock Hall late at night. Bruce Sweeney and Mina Shum and people were like that. They were above me, in the master's program and whatnot. But I spent a lot of time there in the film program. So I quite enjoyed it. So it's good to hook up with you here. Yeah, yeah.
I might still have one of your short films kicking around.
It might be in the library.
Archives,
It could be there. Yeah, it's got an all-star cast in it from Vancouver music people. Anyway.
So when Dmitri, in my other life, I host trivia events and things in various bars and pubs, and I was at Steamworks on Main Street in Mount Pleasant a while back, and Dmitri comes up and reacquaints himself with me because, as I said, we have a history through his family, and we were start talking films. And, I love when people have, lists of things that, could you name your favorite film? I can give you a half dozen films that are in my...
I'll just throw Shawshank out there.
Shawshank?
Classic.
That's your favorite?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going Sunset Boulevard, but even then, I think Fast Times at Ridgemont High might be in that equation. Aaron?
I would have to go... You're asking now a film student about his favorite films, and I'd pick a bunch of arty stuff that nobody had ever heard of before. But... when I was at film, Stanley Kubrick, David Lynch, and Peter Greenaway, the British filmmaker, who I later went on to intern with in Sweden.
Oh wow!
These were all people, and movies was my life for many years. I watched when I was in film school and shooting something because I loved the Kubrick angles of something. I watched Full Metal Jacket every morning for 3 months in a row.
Do you direct or?
Yeah, I do. I've done a few shorts just kind of on my own on an indie level. I've also been kind of freelancing on a lot of other people's independent stuff.
Yeah.
I actually got back into acting too, so...
It's terrific.
Is there a specialty that you have?
I do kind of primarily go more for the directing and cinematography angle, so I love photography as well as a hobby and just kind of framing the shot and trying to be able to tell stories
so
through that.
what is something that is visually stunning to you when you say you go for photography? Can you name something that comes to mind?
Well, I was going to say, since we're talking about Stanley Kubrick, Barry Lyndon is probably the most beautiful film ever made.
Yeah.
Just kind of his mastery of lighting and using natural candlelight.
Candlelight to shoot. Unbelievable, yeah. Yeah.
Because anybody, even for me, unless I'm using a really good low lens sensor and a good kind of wide open aperture lens is going to be a pain to kind of get the lighting and chiaroscuro of that.
So I know little about film, admittedly. I know what I like, and there's a lot of stuff I haven't
That's
seen.
all that matters.
Where do you put a film like The Room by Tommy Wiseau?
Hey, it's a classic.
It's a classic for all the wrong... It's like Plan 9 from Outer Space. It's kind of a classic for all the wrong reasons, right?
But, I mean, I have to almost admire Tommy Wiseau because this is a guy who had a vision to make something.
And the money to make
And
something.
the money to make... That's a story in its own right. I'm sure you've read or seen The Disaster Artist.
Yes.
But this is someone who just wanted essentially to break out of the Hollywood kind of parameters, make something of his own. Had no idea how to make it, and yeah, it failed for kind of some obvious reasons, but it became such a classic, and because he owns the full rights of it, like he's the one kind of laughing all the way to the bank. And he sold underwear too, so that was a big thing.
And more people have seen that movie than a lot of classics or standard over the years. So more power to it.
In the course of your role at UBC, like you're dealing with students aged between how young and how old?
Usually, like, it is a gamut, so I see a lot of first years, like, coming in and just entering their first film studies course.
In their late teens, early 20s? Or
Early 20s,
Okay.
like 18, 19 usually,
Okay.
so...
And what is their range and their depth of knowledge of film history? Is it deep? Is it shallow? What would you say?
I would say it's a gamut, like, based on the conversations I've had. Some are just, like I said, finding out why some of these films are classics for the first time, and like we have a really comprehensive Cinema Studies 100 that kind of tries to go into those details, like what makes a film, like when you pay attention to it, like the lighting, the editing, even the sound, which is like such a crucial thing that I have to admit, when I was in high school, that was kind of almost the thing that everyone would kind of get as the grunt work. It's like, oh, you're holding a microphone,
Sure.
but it's
Boom op.
but it's going to make or break your film if you have
That's it.
terrible sound.
I remember being in high school. You had your electives, you had woodwork, and you had to take metalwork, and one of them was
When the VCR came out and they
That
wheeled
was
it out,
it.
hey, we're going to see a movie today.
that
This is
was it.
terrific. Yeah.
And one of the projects was film, and they gave you this camera which took 4 guys to hold up. It was so darn heavy. But that was sort of my first introduction to film, and there was a bunch of people who did it, and I know some of those guys who went on to
do-
absolutely
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do film. What a great and how far it's come. It's just incredible, right?
So
I was even going to say, I've been talking to students who are actually sort of going back to those technologies. Like, I actually helped produce a feature by a couple of former graduate students, and they shot on basically like mini DV camera.
Yeah.
Kind of, I know Danny Boyle famously did that with 28 Days Later back in 2002, and you only get so much of like a resolution on
Yeah.
that thing, but
Do they
it's an
still-
aesthetic.
I'm going back now. Do they still have the old Moviola, the machine that they had at UBC Film? It was like the hand-cranked editing machine.
Yeah.
We had flatbed editors. Now it's all Avids and Final Cut Pro and stuff
Boy,
like that.
you're talking about that's when the pit had
but-
beers for 75 cents, Chappie.
That's
So
exactly right.
I will revert once again to one of my all-time favorite movies is Sunset Boulevard, 1954.
Terrific.
And what I love is a movie that starts with the ending.
Yes.
So you know how it ends.
That's a good one.
And now you go back to the story to see what leads up to that. And without giving, hey, spoiler alert, it's 1954.
Yeah.
William Holden is lying dead in a swimming pool. But the technology at the time in the 50s didn't allow. So how do they find? They had mirrors at the bottom of the swimming pool to shoot this amazing image of this guy floating dead in a swimming pool
Yeah.
in Sunset Boulevard. What would be a movie that you would recommend? Again, I'm putting you on the spot.
All good.
We did not rehearse this. I love like Body Double, a different kind of movie.
Hey, that's
Another good one.
Yeah, good one. Yeah.
Dramatic plot twist. What is a movie that you would say to somebody, "Hey, if you've never seen this, give it a shot." Mm-hmm. I know it's a tough one.
Because it's like I could just go through a whole list. Are we saying like someone who's just never seen a film?
Well,
Maybe what is
that's a hard reach to think somebody's
Okay.
never seen a film, but
You don't know. They might be living in a cave.
yeah.
Because like, so for me, I always say that like one of my all timers as well. Like I mentioned Barry Lyndon.
Yeah.
I also say Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I'm sure some people sometimes think like, really that like someone who like loves all of these maybe obscure
Right.
films, that's one of your favorites. And like,
Right.
well, it has a very personal connection to me because it kind of got me into my love for cinema.
Yeah.
My grandmother back home, she actually managed a movie theater, and I kind of got raised in the projection
Okay.
booth, basically.
And the music was outstanding.
Oh yeah. But it's just like when you go back, I know it's been kind of memed and joked about to death about how, again, also spoiler alert, Indy had to do absolutely nothing and the plot would have still played out. But you take away that, and you
I've
just
never thought of that before.
Big Bang Theory kind of ruined that for me. But if you just go back and watch it just as like a solid action film, it's well written. The music's great. It's incredibly well paced. Just jumping from set piece to set piece. There's just never a dull moment. Like I think it's a perfect blockbuster film.
Great film.
Yeah.
Great film, right?
Well, this is the first of many. We'll have you back again because
really good to
I love your film knowledge. Again, I plead ignorance because I don't watch a lot of films, and I've got a really short attention span.
You know a lot about films.
I'll tell you a quick little my favorite story. Back in the day, remember Blockbuster Video, obviously, right? So I remember it was like I'd finished working DJing at a bar, walk in at like 2:00 in the morning, Blockbuster on video on Davie Street, and I can't think of something I want to see. I asked the guy at the counter because at that point in the night they're pretty high and they're pretty suggestive, right? So I said, "What do you recommend?" He goes, "You got time?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, this one takes a while to get into it, but trust me, if you give it time, it'll hit you." And it was The Gods Must Be Crazy.
Oh, that's a great one too.
And I remember I go home. It's like 2:30 a.m. Put it in. We're like 15 minutes in. I'm going, where the hell is this thing going? Like I'm just about to hit eject, and then it kicks in, and you kind of get it. So I love movies like that. So that's kind of what I want to see from you down the road, Dmitri. Like you find these movies. Let's find some hidden gems that we can turn.
Yeah, I'll give you one before we go. A little Chappie's pick for this weekend. An art movie you might like. Louis Buñuel's The Phantom of Liberty. One of my favorite films of all time. If you've never seen it before, don't read anything about it. Just see if you can get it or find it online or watch it.
Danny and I are going to look. I've never heard of it.
And then email us and we'll talk about it. Or I want to find out if you like.
I believe it's streaming on the Criterion Channel. Like pair that with Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie because I think that's the one that won the festival.
But I'm still talking about Shawshank Redemption.
I better go back to meatballs here.
Dude, I'm talking Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Come on, like we're out of our depth.
You got a
here.
couple of film nerds
Yeah,
right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
We got a ways to go.
I was going to say one I would actually recommend for this weekend too. If you need to go to the movie theaters, it got like a ton of buzz in the UK, and I think it's just making its North American premiere. Is the movie I Swear, which is about John Davidson, who is a spokesperson and advocate for Tourette's in Scotland.
I've heard about this, but I haven't heard anything more about it. Yeah,
there was
now.
There was a controversy with him at the BAFTAs, and that's a whole other story.
Right.
I am not going to get into.
Joe, I think we have found our movie.
I was going to say our movie savant. I was going to wonder is there ever a sequel to The Room called maybe Another Room or something like that?
Well, he was going to try and make something, but he did do one called Big Shark, which is I think like kind of sharksploitation feature in Louisiana, which he always claims to be from.
I think we found a new feature. Dmitri Lennikov, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
I love it.
That is a wrap for the chat room at Tyrant Studios. Our thanks to all our great sponsors, Mitzi at Neighbors Restaurant and Pizza House at 35th and Victoria Drive. And may I announce that beginning May 12th, trivia at Neighbors. It's the only trivia in the hood, anywhere between...
Did you know who the MC is?
It's going to be me.
Oh, I'm
going to come up
alert. It's
Danny, we got to go for it. Yeah.
Great specials and trivia between 8 and 9:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great prizes and
great prizes, all that. Canadian Club and Ginger Ale, our friend Micah Dew and Mark Bailey from Canadian Club, thank you so much for your support. West Coast Dream Machines on Clyde Avenue in West Vancouver. We will be doing our June show.
Coming up soon.
On location there. We also have North Point Brewing in North Vancouver, Resurrection Spirits in East Vancouver, The Barn Country Cabaret in Surrey, where the Fraser Valley goes for country. Our thanks to all of the people that make this show work. Mike Keeping from Track Stars, who records this show. You can watch us on YouTube, The Chat Room Tyrant Studios. You'll see all the clips. Also, our friends at Sportsnet 650 and Sportsnet650. Sportsnet.ca/650, where you can check out previous episodes. The bartenders who make this show work, Jackie and Cian, thank you so much. Zara, who does our makeup. This list of credits is just getting longer and longer and longer.
And I also want to thank Dan from Tyrant Studios.
Dan from Tyrant Studios, absolutely. Our thanks to all our guests, all our sponsors, and as always, the unflappable Eddie Gregory, our producer. That is a wrap. We will see you next month in the chat room at Tyrant Studios.